So, I used to be really natural at baking, and it was just like fold the butter, bake, bake, bake. Everything comes out surprisingly amazing. Since turning vegan, uh, I've been trying to do a lot more of the baking style, and I've been failing pretty hard. So today we're going to be the green vegan baker. We're going to try out a new recipe. Right now, I'm going to start a vegan puff pastry from Delicious Every Day. And then I'm going to try their mushroom Wellington. It calls for portobello mushrooms, but I'm going to use blue oyster mushrooms, so wish me luck. So right now, I have my pastry flour out. I've got my Himalayan sea salt. I just weighed out 160 grams of my vegan butter, which is the country crop plant butter. I used this for making vegan chocolate chip cookies, and I even chilled the batter, and it became chocolate chip brittle. It completely flattened all of the cookies together in one flat plane. So I'm not quite sure if that was because of this almond oil. It does say it is good for cooking and baking, but it didn't bake so well with me last time with the cookies, so we'll see what it does with the puff pastry. Also, I'm trying to do measuring because if it wasn't the butter, and if it was because I'm working with ingredients that I haven't worked with before, that maybe that it needs to be measured out in weight rather than cups because it's just so different than regular flour or anything else. So, yeah, I'm going to start measuring that out.
It's all about the lies I've told. It's all about the love I wanna hold. It's all about my heart I lost tonight.
That took longer than I really wanted to. Focus face, hard, make a mess is my middle name. And this is 95 milliliters of cold water.
If you find the one, you should never give her up. I think it's the way life changes when in love, yeah. I surround my soul with the positivity. That's why I don't worry about the things that I don't see, yeah. These days I don't worry about much. I think we should, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. Memory lane, isn't that too far away from our hearts, yeah, yeah. The ones we keep close, we should never let go. So tell me who you love, baby.
So what I just did was I took a small, we have those nesting bowls, so cute. I took my fine grained salt into here so I can measure the half a teaspoon. Half a teaspoon. So pretty. It's pink and sparkly. I think I did pretty good for a half a teaspoon. Honestly. That's a perfect measure. what's going to happen now is make a mess hour. It says to break the butter into chunks and add it to the flour, rub it in. And I know this part, I understand what they're saying when they say you don't want to rub it too much. You want there to be chunky, buttery goodness. That's what makes chocolate chip cookies really delicious, is the fact that you have those balls of butter. If you melt your butter for baking, it's a huge no-no. That's why your cookies are coming out like pancakes. But so I feel like I want to not only do the cubes, but I want to cut the cubes in half so I have smaller pieces to work with, so I can disperse it well without breaking up more butter than other butter. All right, on to mess making. So when I was making lunch earlier, I intended to bake way, way, way early. But I wanted to also clean to make sure everything was out of my way and uncontaminated. And I want to add that this butter has been sitting out for at least 20 to 30 minutes before I started measuring it and cubing it. So I don't know if that's going to be a downfall for me in this new baking experience. I want to go back to butter, vegan butter. It calls for Mayokos. Is that how you say it? Miyokos? Miyokos? I don't know. I use that stuff. Is amazing. It is delicious. It is freaking good. And it comes in like one big hunk. Like these come in sticks, and that comes in just like how cream cheese would come naturally. And I didn't use that just because it doesn't have, I guess that's besides the point because I measured today, right? I measured in grams. I usually like to use the sticks because they have the measurements right on them. Next time, I'm going to buy the Mayokos. Stuff's delicious. So this is what they're talking about. You don't want to be mashing the butter so that way it's just sticky. You want to make sure it's balled up and rolled up in the pastry flour. So kind of bally. And I'm going to start adding water. It's only butter and flour, and it smells like cookies already. It's supposed to be puff pastry, but it smells good. So I'm kind of curious. I didn't add all my water. I've got it to ball up, and I can see that the butter is still kind of balled up in the ball. If I add too much water, it'll be a little bit soupy. So I'm going to get as much as I can off my hands and then scroll up. It said there was a video, and I want to see if it'll show me what it should look like when it's ready to go in the fridge to sit for 30 minutes. pastry floury. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit more flour into it to settle that wetness, because it is really wet. So, but what I do know is I'm figuring it out. So I added just about a tablespoon more of pastry flour, and it looks a lot better. So I'm going to wrap it up, put it in the fridge for 30 minutes. Alright, I lied. I'm not going to wrap it up because plastic wrap sucks. I'm going to put a plate over the top of it because glass is a little bit more sustainable. So we're waiting for the dough, pastry dough, to set up. I'm going to start these no bake. It says no bake cookie, but it's having me boil water. It wants boiled water, cashews, unsweetened shredded coconut, but right now all I have is the sweetened. That's what we're using. But then it says a tablespoon or two of liquid sweetener or keto sweetener, so we're just gonna omit that part. And lemon juice. And I have raspberries for the recipe today. This recipe I got from Food Network, and it is a lemon raspberry cheesecake keto fat bomb. Doesn't that sound delicious? There's no cheese. It's cashew. So stay tuned. I want to mention about the cashews. I'm also going to make a cashew cream. Maybe I'll skip that into this video as well for you guys. But Laura Miller in Raw Vegan Not Gross stressed about every time she made something with cashews, she wanted to make sure you soaked them overnight. A lot of recipes that I've been seeing online specifically don't call for that. They don't have it listed anywhere saying make sure you soak overnight. Almost like with garbanzo beans, with chickpeas, people are like, yo, drain it, rinse it, make sure you do that. So in this case, excuse me, I did soak my cashews for this recipe because I'm pretty sure we're going to be food processing this together with other things, and I wanted it to be smoother. The other day I made a banana cream pie. I think that was Laura Miller's Raw Vegan Not Gross banana cream pie that I used for a recipe. It was a cashew crust, and that I did not soak. I think that you needed to have that grittiness for that crust to be able to form well, and it was super delicious. It tasted like graham cracker, but it was good for you. So I'm going to drain this and measure my 1 cup of raw unsalted cashews. I am using a Black & Decker not really sure how many cups, and honestly, whatever it is, it's not enough. This is good for mostly doing dry ingredients. It's not for doing a lot of liquids. So my cashew cream, my crust, doing the banana, like frozen banana, such, it works pretty well, but if it comes to like gazpacho, soup, anything that's high in liquid, it's not going to work well. sustainable. You can bake with these, you can freeze them. Just gotta make sure you got a good sourced food grade silicone brand. Can't remember what these ones are, but I've had them for a long time. So right now my issue that I'm having is that the coconut flake isn't breaking down. It's a little bit piecey. It did say just to throw all the ingredients into the processor and blend it, but I knew that wasn't going to be a good idea. I should have crushed up the cashew and then cashew and coconut, get that down a little bit, and then add a little bit of water at a time. But I'm just gonna set it up for a little bit longer in the blender processor and see where we go from there. So I did 2 tablespoons per muffin mold, and it looks like it's gonna portion out right, but I'm not sure if it was too much. We'll see. So I'm going to put these in the deep freeze and see how they turn out. I just put down some pastry flour and I'm going to be rolling out the dough that's been in. It's a little bit longer than 30 minutes, but we're going to roll it out 3 times its size, fold it, roll it, fold it, put it in the fridge, rinse, repeat. All right. So I did the roll it out, turned it around, roll it out, folded it back up, and now I'm putting it back in the fridge for 30 We'll just skip showing the next 2 parts, and it says it's ready to use. We'll see how the Wellington comes out. Just a follow-up, I want to tell you about the mushroom Wellington. The puff pastry came out amazing. It was really nice in like the way it felt when you bit into it. The blue oyster mushrooms, they were okay. I should have cut them up a little bit more. And I omitted the spinach because I just wasn't sure if I could pull that off. And it came out amazing. What I was upset about was my no-bake raspberry cheesecake keto fat bombs. I mean, they're okay, but I don't know. I mean, I tried. So the 2 pictures I have of those right after this, and thank you for making a recipe with me, and maybe we'll each get better as we go. See you next time.